are watching Channel Africa Conversations.
During my tenure, we have seen the government of Malawi tripling loans that are given to students. Now, most of our population is very poor. They can't afford to go to university. So it's a big thing, the fact that this government, through my ministry, has been able to not only give loans to record students than was done before, but even extend these loans to private universities.
Hello and welcome to Channel Africa Conversations. I'm your host, Peter Ndoro. Today I'm joined by Dr. Jessie Kabwila, Malawi's Minister of Higher Education. She's an academic, a feminist and a long-time activist. Dr. Kabwila is a former university lecturer and outspoken advocate for academic freedom. She rose to prominence after leading a standoff with the Malawi government in 2011 to defend university autonomy, an act that cost her her job but cemented her reputation as a fearless voice for justice. She went on to serve as a Member of Parliament and chair of the Malawi Parliamentary Women's Caucus. In 2025, she was appointed Minister of Higher Education, where she now leads efforts to improve quality, accountability and equity in the sector. In this conversation, we explore her remarkable journey, the current reforms to clean up fake qualifications, gender equity in higher learning, and also some of the challenges and successes that the Tonse Alliance has had as the country faces elections in September. So, Minister, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Channel Africa Conversations.
Thank you for having me.
So, you first rose to prominence in 2011 as a vocal defender of academic freedom at Chancellor College. What do you remember most vividly about that moment?
Vividly is what I always refer to as people's power. If you are a true leader, you need to be able to harness different skills. But I think I saw frontline how powerful a common person is, someone who didn't go to college, who is uneducated, and how the fact that human rights are inalienable. No one has to teach you. You don't have to go to college to understand the importance of academic freedom or to understand the importance of democracy. I led a movement that took over 9 months, but it was not only populated by the educated. It wasn't only academics. We even had what we called lecturers of the taxi rank, lecturers of the village. In other words, villagers and people who are not the university fraternity rose to defend the academic freedom against the DPP-led government of that time. So what I learned is that Malawians are a people who truly crafted their constitution, and they will defend it, and they understand what academic freedom is, and they know that academia is the true engine of development, the true source of liberty. That is what I learned.
So you then transitioned from an activist, an outsider, I guess, in terms of running a country, to becoming a cabinet minister. Take us through that transition and what it's been like being on the other side, as it were.
Yeah, I think I need to say one of the things that might be missed by the audience I am speaking with now is the fact that I've actually proved to be a comeback kid, because I left academic freedom. I became a member of parliament. I lost my seat, but I've now managed to publicity secretary of the ruling party. So meaning going back to Malawi Congress Party. And I've also, so I'm the national publicity secretary. And then from there, so I won and I was the highest winner of the convention. Many people were surprised. They didn't even know I would make it back. And now I've won my primaries. I'm on my way back to parliament. I really feel I'm going to make it. And then I'm a cabinet minister too. So it feels like if you stand on principle, and that is if you continue to fight for the rights of the vulnerable. I've been, during the break, I've done a lot of being with people who are going to court over sexual abuse, elderly who were being accused of being, witches when it was just a figment of patriarchal challenges that are in our community. But I never left the eye and the ears of Malawians in terms of helping them attain their rights. So this has really helped me. In other words, whether you are in position or you are not in position, when you do run, they actually know that this is one of our own. I must say, it also feels good to be minister, because now I'm able to be at the helm of a sector that I've led in many ways, I've participated in many ways. I know our universities, I know our colleges, and it's such a pleasure to be of service, especially in a government that is putting education first and is looking at higher education as the major driver of Malawi 2063, which is our flagship policy for the development, also, accompanied, neatly aligned to the ATMM strategy, which actually says how does higher education help this country power its agriculture, link it to tourism, and the mining that we've just discovered, and make sure that manufacturing is neatly pinned to this. So yeah, I'm very, very excited and grateful to the people of Malawi, led by Dr. Lazarus Makathi Chakwera, for giving me the opportunity to be minister and work together with the technocrats there to make sure that policy is actually changing lives and saving lives.
What do you think you've been able to achieve so far in your ministry?
I've been able to achieve a lot. Number one, the very fact that I'm the first minister of higher education in the country. That's an achievement, because now higher education has focus. Higher education is getting 24/7 attention, not only in terms of policy, but even on oversight and making sure that people are really harnessing what can be done in the development state of Malawi through higher education. The second thing is, during my tenure, we have seen the government of Malawi tripling loans that are given to students. Now, most of our population is very poor. They can't afford to go to university. So it's a big, big thing, the fact that this government, through my ministry, has been able to not only give loans to record students than was done before, but even extend these loans to private universities. And the loans have been trebled in terms of amount. And we've also seen that students are now getting upkeep. This is a big deal in a country with financial challenges. We have also seen higher education getting infrastructure. The way roads and infrastructure is being put is linked to making sure that we narrow the gap between the village and the lecture room. We narrow the gap between the street and the lecture room. We are seeing more research, more innovation. As I'm talking, MUBAS, which is Malawi, the institute, the university that deals with business, is actually assembling a tractor that will be made here. You go to MAST, you see that tablets are being assembled here. I could speak up to tomorrow. We even have Mzuni, which is now getting into electricity supply. If you look at what we are trying to do, we are not giving higher education for education's sake, but we are linking higher education to entrepreneurship, to creation of jobs. And we are not teaching the university students for them to be employed, but for them to be employers and to employ themselves. I'm very glad to say we have introduced incubators. And those incubators are hubs of research, hubs of innovation. During my tenure, we've seen an increase in digitization. As I'm talking, 2 weeks ago, we were in Thailand, and there we've managed to get into serious talks for Malawi to become the regional hub for AI. So Malawi, during this time, has seen an increase in participation. In other words, attendance of the students that are attending university has actually trebled. We have got more people attending university. And that is how Malawi will become self-sustaining, because the more young ladies are educated, the more young men are educated, the better they can be linked to the development. I think finally, I will just highlight that in the past, Malawi has always had bodies like NIF that finances agriculture. But during this time, we've managed to link the youth policy with the funding bodies. So during this time, it is a time that people like me can stand up proud and show that we are truly serving Malawians by making sure that we don't just push policies, but the policies are actually effected on the ground. During this time, we've seen more people go to university, better funded, and they are being educated for them to be entrepreneurs and to commercialize that which they're selling. One of the things that you see in the education of Malawi, higher education, is that we are more Pan-Africanist. We are teaching our students, or let me say engaging our students, because it's not as if it's a top-bottom approach that we are using. We are engaging them not only to work with their communities and harness indigenous knowledge, but to not to look down on themselves. They need to know that Malawi is a place where things happen. We are open for business. We are making things. We are looking into value addition. We are open for business, and we are a success. We are not going around apologizing for who we are. We are saying Malawi is the solution to the regional challenges. We are a market not only for Malawi. We need to feed ourselves, be able to do agriculture, to sell, make sure we are bringing in forex, and we are reducing our forex dependence. If you say what have I achieved, I would say the major thing is to take more poor people to access higher education and make sure that they're accessing quality education. I've declared a war on fake degrees, and this has come through inspiration of the president, who has said students must be taught ethically, with integrity, and they must get skills. They cannot get skills if they are being taught by people who are taught from a deficient background. So in a nutshell, I'm very, very proud that in the 6 months, now 7th month that I'm there, that I've been here as minister under the leadership of the president, we've managed to bring back quality, to bring back equity, to bring back inclusivity, make sure that the boy child and the girl child are being treated as Malawians, and issues of power relations that dog their life are actually not only exposed but engaged. So those are the issues that I'm looking at in the ministry.
Let's talk a little bit more about equity, gender equity in particular. You're a Pan-Africanist, a feminist, and there's a lot of patriarchy, sadly, on our continent. How are you helping young women in particular navigate this current?
Thing that I want to explain is, yes, you are very right. Patriarchy is alive and not only in Malawi, it is alive and well regionally and even globally. But what we are doing, as for me, I'm really pushing affirmative action. Affirmative action, because the truth of the matter is the higher education sector, the playing field is not leveled. We still have women being defined as subhuman, and people, I don't know how many times I have to remind people that I'm Dr. Kabwila. People are much more comfortable calling you Jessie, calling you some even say this girl. And now I think just 2 weeks ago I had the whole country busy talking about whether I put powder on my face or how I look like, as if what defines me are my looks. We are still meeting issues of people thinking if you're in politics, you're a prostitute. Now, if you say, what are we doing? I think the first thing is to make sure that more women access university education. We are looking into issues of loans, because one thing that's keeping a lot of women, a lot of patriarchy, to end up having more men education is the that of finances. So we're really taking seriously. That is why the Chakwera government is not wasting any minute, but making sure that the loans are scaled up. We have actually just increased them to make sure that even upkeep reaches an amount that it was not before. It's now on 500. Yet it used to be 150 in the other governments. Now, we know that a poor student can end up even failing to attend school because of finances. We've also increased infrastructure because if the classrooms are closer, if the lecture rooms are closer, then these students can actually reach education much more. We have also made sure that we look into the issue of comprehensive sexual reproductive health rights. Many people who don't look at this from a Pan-Africanist feminist perspective tend to forget that for the girl child to go to school, for her to reach my level, issues of what happens when man and woman meet, what happens to the body of a woman, how do we empower her for us to delay the sexual debut, for her to be equipped so that she does not end up in unsafe abortion, she does not end up contracting HIV and its attendant challenges. We need to strengthen the issue of sexual reproductive health rights. This is an issue that I'm really looking at. Another issue that we are looking at is menstrual poverty. We have large numbers that are really failing to go through, especially secondary school. They end up staying away. So you will notice that the policies that are being pursued now, even with this campaign that we are going to the polls very soon. One of the issues that we've pushed a lot is to make sure that pads are made more accessible. If condoms are free, why is it that we cannot make pads more accessible to everyone? So the other thing that we are really making sure that we look at is to also show that we are economically empowering the youth and the women who are there, the young girls who are there, and the women. What we are doing is to link funding institutions with the university. We want the students, when they get there, because their challenges are not just fees, their challenges are many, and some of these young women end up in difficult situations just because they need a phone or they need this and that. And when they are there to compete for jobs, they also are competing unfairly. So one thing we've done is to take NIF and make sure that the national initiative for financing the young people to the universities, and it is linked to innovation and linked to digitization, that we are making sure that they are not only equipped and skilled to deal with the digitization and link it to agriculture, but they must also be able to commercialize it. They must know how to make it work for them, get money to themselves. This is one thing which we are really strengthening. So we are going very heavy on entrepreneurship, on commercialization, and on the fact that the world sells and buys from happy people, from confident people, from people who believe in themselves. In this ministry, I'm really working on female self-determination. You can have the fees, you can have the loan been given, you can have even entrepreneurship, but if you do not own yourself, if you do not believe in yourself, and you do not think you are an asset to yourself in order to succeed, all these things will not amount to anything. So we are also investing in making sure that women have female self-determination, starting from the curriculum that they are being fed on. A lot of the curriculum that we find in these schools are from a Western patriarchal mode that has spoken fluently to the cultural patriarchy that we found. Students are taught from a young age that they are Eve. They are a group that was done and it sinned, and they are paying for their sins. They are taught that they are weaker sex. They are taught that they need to be protected. They are not leaders. And this speaks very well with cultural proverbs such as Yaigas Guzangolo, meaning that they are not drivers. They are not change makers. Their job is to be spectators. So what we are doing, the history, making sure that the history of Malawians does not construct women as second-class citizens, does not construct those people who are unable. So it's the inclusivity element that we are bringing in right into the curriculum, showing what the ancestors, the female ancestors of this country did together with their men. So if you ask me, I would say one thing that some of us are really working on is a Pan-Africanist attitude that exposes the patriarchy that we happily imbibed from the Western world, and the one that really spoke fluently to the cultural and the religious one. In other words, exposing all the patriarchies, the double patriarchy lot that comes from the Western and the indigenous or the local one, and seeing ways of making sure that we end this. I'll end by saying we are also looking into the fact that in a democracy, if you are saying you believe in the Equality, Gender Equality Act, and in Malawi, the Gender Equality Act says in anything that we do, we should have 60-40, 60% of either gender. So we are practicing this even in committees, even when I meet the chancellors, my own ministry, we are making sure that we use affirmative action to make sure that women are not just visible, but they're occupying key and decision-making spaces, and we rewrite the narrative. We end this business of women being seen and not being heard, but they actually are heard, and they are also holding positions that decide. Another thing that the ministry is really working hard on is to make sure that issues that concern women are looked at seriously. Things like tax justice, things like making sure that people are paid fairly, and making sure that labor laws are aligned, are issues that even in these high education institutions, we are putting researchers to look into, and working with other ministries, we are making sure that justice is done, because women pay taxes too. There is no reason why they should not be having water, they should not be having electricity, yet to this day they are the ones who are expected to give birth. So we are saying the budget must work under gender responsive budgeting. Even in the higher education institutions, when they're critiquing the budget, they must work from a lens that sees the different power relations that exist in our communities.
You mentioned the elections that are on the horizon. The Tonse Alliance came in to government, into power, on the back of big promises such as million jobs, fighting corruption, and improving livelihoods. Many Malawians might say, you haven't lived up to those promises. What do you say to them ahead of these elections?
I will say some Malawians might say that. I'll be quick to say, if you go to the farmers of this world, and our bread basket is normally, you go to Kasungu, you go where they do farming, they'll tell you that yes, the Tonse Alliance came, and since this country came into being, we've never seen tobacco being bought at the price that it has been bought. We have not seen soya being bought at the price that it has been bought. In the morning, we tried to have an interview, but it was hard because this government, the government of Dr. Lazarus Makathi Chakwera, was opening a plant of $100 million for us to process soya, for us to be able to get bread out. In fact, as we stand, our farmers are being called upon to scale up their production. This has never happened before. If you go to those people who are suffering from cancer, they will tell you that no government has managed to deliver the cancer center. But this was opened last week. If you go to university students, they will tell you that the Tonse Alliance government led by Malawi Congress Party is what has trebled their loans. It is what has removed the quota system that was segregating against other the students of merit. If you go to the university, they've never seen a government that has given infrastructure as does this. If you come to Malawi today, our roads are different. We have roads in the south, some constructed and finished and in quality. Go to the eastern, you will see roads being done. You go to the north, you will see roads are being done. Come to the capital city. Those of you from South Africa used to come here and ask, where is the capital city? You couldn't even see it. Dr. Kabwila has actually come and given it not only a facelift, but put a road network that links to hospitals, that links to the trade hub, a road that is strong, but shows the commitment of Dr. Lazarus Makate Kabwila to make sure that we are making life better. Look, we inherited a government where the past administration had just borrowed money and did not pay. And what we've done is we have inherited that and we are paying back. We must remember when Dr. Kabwila got into government, he got in during COVID time. Not even parliament could meet. Business came to a standstill. They reached the point where we couldn't even those doing minibus could not do the minibus business. Almost a year went. Then came cholera. After that, we've been battling cyclones. And if we are to tell the truth, even in South Africa, I can challenge you wherever, including the US or Germany, wherever, we have all gone through very difficult financial challenges. There's been the war in Ukraine and Russia that impacted our fertilizer production. We have got the Gaza war going on right now. Malawi is not a vacuum. It is a landlocked country that is impacted by what's going on globally. If you look, when we were getting into government, even supply of electricity was much worse. But we've managed to stabilize this. Dr. Kabwila has reached a point where this is stable. Just now, we're opening this plant. Why is it important? It is important because when we are using our own soya to do cooking oil, we are going to reduce prices. We've already seen a 20% reduction on the time that they started doing this production. And today, the company that has come to invest, and it is from Tanzania, has actually assured us that at the rate that they are going, we will see a reduction of about 40%. Now, what is Dr. Kabwila doing? He's trying to get the prices that are skyrocketing to come down. The other, I think 3 months ago, we were receiving for the in 30 years a train that now we can work with Mozambique. Now we are able to bring fuel by train. We are able to bring fertilizer by train. Why is this important? It reduces prices. What Dr. Kabwila inherited cannot all be fixed in 3 years of the 5 that he was given. Yes, the Tonsa Alliance made promises, but people must understand that the promises had to operate not in a vacuum, but also withstanding what was going on globally. And we all know what COVID did, not only to Malawi, but to any other economy. There is a point at which we're not producing anything. And people must also remember what the mess we inherited. But we have taken on the chin, and as I'm talking, Malawi has seen new solid roads. Malawi has seen health centers over 200 that have been put on the ground. Malawi has seen solar, putting solar on these health centers. Now, if truth is to be told, people are seeing a president who, at the face of hunger, distributes maize, relief maize, without saying this is opposition area. We even have members of the opposition who have been removed from position because Kabwila went to distribute relief maize, and now they're getting punished because they were thanking government for it. That shows you that this is a leader who's not politicizing food. This is a leader who is actually helping everybody. So the Tonse Alliance led by MCP to 16 September, very confident. In fact, the other day, opposition was complaining that their people have not registered. And simple, when we were asked by MEC, which is our institution that is running the elections, they were busy telling people, don't register, the elections are already rigged. How can elections that have not even taken place? Before was my mind. But now, what's the result? There are people Apparently, they're saying that people have not registered, meaning that the 7 million plus that have registered are Malay Congress Party people. So the situation we have here is of an absent opposition. They don't even have people on the ground. So now they are busy lying to people that people are not happy with Chakwera. Which people are not happy with Chakwera? If people are not happy with Chakwera, then why did his people register? Why did Malay Congress Party people register? It's not us who have said the people are ours. It's them. They've had, Kabambe went in who is from the UTM and said, no, there's something which was done. Our people have not registered. That's when we learned that, so all the people who have registered are actually Malay Congress Party. So for us, it's actually a waiting game. We are going to win this hands down. We needed a 50+1, but I can comfortably tell you here, Malawians are not stupid. They are the same who fought for academic freedom. They are the same who saw the DPP kill 21 people in the north. They are the same who had DPP tell them that northerners can never be leaders. Northerners are useless. They are the same who saw albinos being butchered during their regime. They saw the corruption that was happening. So they are not stupid people. They know we cannot go back to the dark days where people used to lie that we've got forex, when what they had done was to borrow money, and the same money that was borrowed was being shown to be money that has been generated. We are not a government that lies. We are a government that faces facts. Where there are challenges, we accept, and then we sit down and say, how do we solve them? If someone says, what have we done as an FCP-led government, we will say, we have put roads on the ground. We have put health centers. We now have a cancer center. For the first time, people don't have to go to India. We've lost so many people, and we've prioritized this issue. We also have food. NIF is now giving loans for people to do irrigation. Irrigation-led farming. And that for us is what we are here to do. We are here to make sure that we distribute resources and give services without politicizing, without asking you where you come from, but making sure that you get your taxes worth of development. And when you speak, you are ahead. When you want to go to a rally, nobody bothers you. That is what we are in the business of doing. Let me underline here. Those Alliance actually has done very well when you compare the met, and the MCP is going to this election in one simple phrase: Chakwera winaso boma ndilo mweri siti kusinta, meaning that Dr. Chakwera will win again. Government will continue to be the one you are seeing right now. And the 16th September, we are actually planning on the buses that we are going to get into for us to go for the inauguration. Hands down, we are going to win this.
Minister of Higher Education in Malawi, Dr. Jessie Kabwila, it's been a pleasure talking to you on Channel Africa Conversations. Thank you so much indeed for such an inspiring and fascinating chat that you've been able to give us.
So much. The pleasure is all mine, and I you all well. Thank you so much for giving Ministry of Higher Education in Malawi a chance to showcase what we are doing, and also it was a chance to show what the Chakwera government is doing under the party of Malay Congress Party. And let me reiterate, come 16 September 2025, Malay Congress Party will carry the day, and Malawians will continue to see more roads, more hospital services, and better food security. It's going to be a good day, more jobs and happiness for everyone else. Thank you very much.
That was Malawi's Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Jessie Kabwila, speaking to us about the travails, the challenges, and the successes that she's been able to enact and deal with as in her tenure as the current Minister of Higher Education, and speaking to the people of Malawi and saying that, look, yes, the election's around the corner. We did make a lot of promises when we were coming into power, but there have been challenges beyond our control of a global nature. And despite all of that, the current government of Dr. Chakwera has been able to achieve significant things in that time. I suppose we'll have to wait and see how Malawians rate the government and if they agree with what Minister has said at the elections, which are due in September. Well, that's how we come to the end of today's edition of Channel Africa Conversations. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, and we look forward to another episode next week. In the meantime, before I go, a reminder that we'd love to hear from you. So on your screen now, you should be seeing the social media handles and where you're able to contact us, where you can share your thoughts on the program that you've just seen, and also give us clues in terms of the kinds of conversations and who with that you'd like to have, for us to have more and more on the program going forward. So please even start by commenting in the comment section of this program right now. Until the next time, thank you so much indeed for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.